Good morning, students. I'd like to talk to you guys about map testing and what you should know about map testing. So let's take a few minutes to talk about it, okay? So first, what do you know about the map test? So you maybe take a couple seconds. You might want to press pause and tell your teacher what you know about the map test. Here's some questions you might have. Is it a test about maps? Do you have to finish it in a certain amount of time? Does your teacher expect you to get every answer right? Is it for a grade? We are going to answer all of those questions as we talk about our map testing. Okay? So, these are some things you might already know. You might know map testing tests in math, reading, language usage, and if you're a fifth grader, you're going to take a science one. If you're sixth grade, you don't take it. It's given 3 times a year, usually at the beginning, in December, and towards the end of the year. You do have to take the map test on a computer. It does not count for a grade in your classes. It's not timed, and it has about 52 questions. That can vary by the subject or the test. Those are some of the things that you may already know about map testing. Now, here's my question for you. Why do we take the map test? As a teacher, your teacher's job is to make sure that you learn all the things you need to be ready for the next grade as you move on. But guess what? We can't just see in your brain and know what's going on. Just like I can't look at a car and know how much gas is in it just by looking at the outside of it. Can you tell how much gas is in your tank? No. What you have to look is at the gas gauge to see how much gas is in there. We cannot tell how much knowledge you have in your brain just by looking at your head, just the way a person cannot tell how much gas is in the gas tank by looking at the car. To find out what you know, you have to show us. You have to demonstrate what you know. These tests are not about judging whether you're good or bad at something or whether you're going to pass or fail. These tests are about finding out where you are right now in your learning so that we can move on to the next place. Every day, in many ways, your teachers are checking to see what you already know. These are called checkpoints along the way from where you started in your learning to where you are now. Sometimes you show your teacher that you know by solving a problem. Sometimes you show your teacher by reading something to them. Sometimes by raising your hand to answer a question. Sometimes you show by answering questions on a test. One of those tests that we take on this learning journey is our MAP test. MAP gives us a checkpoint along the way each year. But MAP is different information from other tests. MAP not only shows us what you know, but it also shows what you're ready to learn next. This helps your teacher to make a plan for what they need to teach you and what they don't need to teach you. If you show us on the map that you've already learned something, we can skip over that in your instruction and spend time teaching something you don't know yet. So now you're going to take some time and you're going to watch this video. This talks about what to expect from NWEA, and it's a good idea of what the questions might look like or how you're feeling about it. So you might need to pause this video so that you can watch it, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I'll give you a couple minutes to watch the video, and then we'll continue on that. Hopefully you had enough time to watch the video. These are 3 things that you should know about MAP. You won't get all of the questions right. You are not taking a 5th grade MAP test. MAP doesn't know how old you are. And your score is not based on the number of items that you get correct. So let's go into detail about that. You won't get all of the items right. Make sure you heard that. It's impossible to get all of the answers correct. The test is not set up like that. It is actually looking for your instructional level. In order to get that instructional level, it needs to identify what you've mastered and what's just beyond that. So you can't get them all correct. So that may surprise you, but you are not expected to know the answer to every question on the MAP test. Some questions will be hard and some questions will be easy. Every student who takes the MAP test will get about half of the items correct, which means you're going to miss half of them. And that is okay because we are looking for your instructional level. The next part is remember, you are not taking a fifth or a sixth grade test. Now, yes, does it have that name? It does, but that's just for us to keep it organized. You are just taking a MAP test because the computer does not know how old you are. So think about when you go to the library. You can check out any book you want, no matter what grade you're in. MAP has a library of questions. MAP doesn't know how old you are or what grade you are in. MAP is not just looking at the third grade shelf or the fifth grade shelf or the sixth grade shelf. They are going to ask you fifth grade questions, fifth grade things that you know, but that's not all. It's going to keep looking for easier or more difficult questions to help you learn. Now, here's the other thing that you need to remember. Each MAP test is different. MAP tests are like snowflakes. No two tests are alike. In the classroom, the teacher writes the test before the test day and gives the same test to each student. But MAP is different. MAP is creating the test while you are taking it. What questions appear on your test depend on how you respond to each question. So MAP is just as different as each one of you in the classroom. So don't look to your partner to think that they're going to have the same test as you. Your score is not based on the number of items you get right. Let me say that again. Your score is not based on the number of items that you get correct. This is how the MAP test is scored. You start out with an easy question. So if the MAP test were like a teacher's test in the classroom, we might count up the total number of items correct and then give you a percentage. But when you're doing the MAP test, if you get an easier question right, it gives you a little bit harder one. Well, then you missed one, which is okay. So it goes back down and it gives you an easier test. And as you see, it starts building up and down based on whether you get them correct or not. This is giving us your instructional level. This is how we know what level you need to be instructed at. So if it was like a regular test, you would say, oh, there were 18 questions. I got 11 correct. I got 7 incorrect. That's only a 61%. MAP is not like that. It's totally different. If you look at that grid right there, you can see, well, when we go up to difficult, the student wasn't ready for it. So they find an area that is ready for you. Now, what can we learn from it as your teachers? We know that you are in charge of your own learning. When you know what you need to work on, you're empowered to do something about it. From MAP, you can learn your strengths and areas of growth. When you know your areas for growth, you can work with your teacher to improve this area and have greater success. Think about what you can do now that's going to help you in the future. What can you do now to make sure that by the end of the year, we can help you get where you need to be. So when you start taking these MAP tests on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, remember it's all about you and what we can do to help support you. So remember to try your very best, but it's okay if you miss some questions. All right. So we have MAP testing on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Please take your time and do your very best. Thank you, students.